Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Heide Greatlance, and I've got to say, I do like the Lance class weapons. I did enjoy the Chariot Lance, and I like this one very much as well. It's got the exact same moveset, they all have the exact same moveset, and it's a very good one. Now, getting started with the Heide Greatlance, first off, I don't care how it's pronounced. I don't care if you pronounce it Heide, Heidi, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It's this weapon. You know what it is. Let's get started with it. The Heide Greatlance, it requires 20 strength, 16 dexterity in order to wield. It has a B scaling in strength and an E scaling in dexterity, as well as a C scaling in lightning. Now, the physical base damage of this weapon is 270, and the lightning base damage is 80. Together with the scalings, the attack rating for me on this build is 547, and this is not my standard quality build. This is a separate build. This is a strength faith build that I've got on PlayStation. I'm finally able to record on PlayStation again, although the quality does drop out sometimes, so sorry about that. I'm working on getting that fixed. Anyway, what was I saying? The Ring of Blades plus 2, yeah. The attack rating with a Ring of Blades plus 2 is 547. Without it, it is 497. The counter strength of the weapon is 160, which is one of the highest counter strengths in the game. This weapon really does benefit from a more patient play style, so it's more of a reactive type weapon. You need to focus more on getting counter attacks, and that does very good things for you. Other than that, the poise damage is 30 per hit, and the weight is 10 units. Now, this weapon is pretty good. It is pretty much a standard Greatlance aimed towards a faith user. Now, with this weapon, as I said before, you do want to be more patient with it. The tracking on it really is not too fantastic, although you can get some good tracking on its rolling attacks, strangely enough. I've found that the Lance class weapons have the best tracking on a rolling attack in the game. But that's just my opinion. I've been able to completely spin around after doing a rolling attack, or while doing a rolling attack rather. So, you know, do the roll away from someone and then have it track to them. Yeah, most weapons can't do that anymore. This one actually can. If it decides to or not, well, that's a whole nother story. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Other than that, though, the biggest pro of this weapon, I would have to say, would be the fact that its counter strength is so high. If you're patient, if you do focus on counter hits, you will be able to deliver some very, very punishing attacks. And that's a good thing, not so much for your opponent though. Other pros, I would have to say, the damage output is average. It can be buffed as well, so if you want to infuse it with lightning, throw on Sunlight Blade, then by all means you can go for that. Other than that, I really can't think of too many pros. You can hit someone twice most of the time if you get them with an R1 attack. Very few people have been able to roll out of it from my experience, although when they do, it usually doesn't end well for me. Even if someone's got Great Magic Barrier on, it does a solid amount of damage still, so that's something good as well for faith builds. As you can see, this guy's got Great Magic Barrier on, and I'm still hitting significant amounts of damage. Other things about the weapon that I should mention, other pros about it that I should mention, it's one-handed R2. If you do the one-handed R2 and you miss and go for the second R2, it's very good at catching people who are backstab fishing because it's a very wide swing, covering about 180 degrees in front of you. So that's a really good thing. It definitely deters backstab fishing, and that's the most common way to punish the use of a Lance class weapon. So that is something you should keep in mind. Other things about the weapon, that's pretty much all I've got to say for the pros. Now, the cons of the weapon, I would have to say that the biggest con of this weapon, excuse me, allergies are starting to bother me a little bit. The biggest con of this weapon, in my opinion, is with the running attacks and its R2 attacks, they're all multiple hit attacks, which is good and all if you hit all of the attacks. But I've had a lot of trouble recently with hitting all of the attacks. What I mean is, I'll hit them, and it will stun them, and then suddenly I'll just like brush off the side of them, even if they're moving in a straight line and I move in a straight line with them, it'll just brush off, and that's really kind of annoying. because I hit them, I stunned them, and suddenly I slid off. Yeah, it's a bit of a hassle when that happens. I don't really care for it too much. This guy right here is trying to get me with that Monastery Scimitar parry, but not having any luck with it. That's one good thing I have noticed. These weapons are a bit tricky to parry. The timing for it is a little bit strange, and you have to be really on point with it, which is a good thing. Now, other cons of the weapon, like I was saying, I would have to say the tracking ability for most attacks, it's really not there. If you just R1 spam, you're going to have a bit of a hard time hitting someone. They can just strafe to the side and you'll miss quite a bit. So R1 spam is something I would not encourage. Really, this is a weapon meant for a person with a more patient play style than myself. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, this is the last fight. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it helpful in one way or another. Please like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you guys next time.